closing just about now in the East Coast. So Massachusetts and Michigan, we will have some live reports coming back from them as soon as we get some results in. Massachusetts is voting on question 3, the medical marijuana initiative to make it the 18th state to legalize the medical use of marijuana. Massachusetts recently decriminalized in their last election. The results were over 60%. We're expecting over 60% results for medical marijuana as well. It'll be our first victory of the night, mark my words. Then we'll go back to Michigan with Rick Thompson, who's covering all the different cities in Michigan that are working on decriminalization, lowest law enforcement priority, medical marijuana dispensary measures, and so forth. Right now, though, I want to go to the Rocky Mountains, where in Denver, Colorado, we have Karri Gallaugher, who is our news director for the Russ Belville Show. She's there at the Amendment 64 party and has been setting up the Skype and working with some of our friends out there. Karri, how are things going out there in Colorado? Still trying to get Karri on the line. Karri, can you hear us?
Can't quite hear you yet.
Still waiting for Karri's microphone.
Okay, Karri.
You still got the tuna if you need to stall.
We got Bobby Tuna on the line too. All right, so we'll wait for Karri to try to figure out what's going on with her mic. She's getting some help with some folks down there. We'll go back to Colorado as soon as we can. We are looking at the screens from CNN right now, which are 18 seconds away from making a prediction or a projection for a state calling the presidential race. 10 seconds to go for the call here. Let's take a look at what's happening. It sounds like we're starting to get Karri in there on the line. The CNN projection coming in right now across the wires, where it looks like they're going to be projecting some Senate races at this point, so we're not too concerned about what's going on there. Here we go. Connecticut. Barack Obama has won the 7 electoral votes for the state of Connecticut.
Testing.
Barack Obama. We hear you, Karri.
Hey,
You're there.
Karri.
Delaware. 3 electoral votes going to Barack Obama from the state of Delaware. District of Columbia. 3 electoral votes to Barack Obama. D.C., Washington, D.C.'s 3 electoral votes going to Barack Obama. 20 electoral votes in his home state of Illinois going for Barack Obama as these early poll results are coming in. The states of Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, all going for Barack Obama. So that tells me we might be getting some results back from Massachusetts here very shortly. Let's go back to Karri Gallaugher. She's in Colorado at the headquarters for Amendment 64's party. Karri, how's it going?
The event, are you there now?
Oh, there we are.
Listen, the event hasn't quite started yet, but the venue looks great. I've talked to the bar. They say they expect about 500 plus. And we'll...
Oh, you keep breaking up there, Karri.
The big...
Oh, we might need to...
Okay, well...
We might need to reconnect with Karri.
Yeah, I think what happens sometimes, especially when you got a separate microphone like that, is that the microphone picks up what's coming through your headphones and it automatically reduces. If you look in the Skype settings, there is a Skype setting for automatically adjust the volume, and we can turn that off and probably fix that. Right now, the Electoral College is looking to be 64-40 for Barack Obama at this point. We are looking to get you some news on the Massachusetts election. At this point, let's go back to Robert Platshorn. Bobby Tuna's hanging out there in Florida. Last I saw in Florida, the polls are looking pretty tight on the presidential election. Do you have any news for us there, Bobby?
No, it's going to look tight for a while, and there's going to be a lot of disputes like there were last time. Our governor deliberately limited the early voting time. He cut out Sundays where traditionally the black vote comes in after church. They go to the polling places and vote. He closed the polls on Sunday completely, closed a lot of the early voting polls hours before they were supposed to close. And Florida's going to be a big mess like it was last time. Hopefully there'll be a decisive victory, and hopefully it'll be for Barack Obama.
Yes, we're hoping that. And as we're looking at the results coming, oh, hold on just a moment. I gotta move aside. Iva, Jen, can you take care of the show for just a second?
Sure can, Brian.
I got a good story for you if you want to hear a short story.
We're
happy to take over.
I would be happy to take over, but I had no mic.
Hey, go ahead, Bobby. Tell us that short story.
All right. The big nemesis, if you know your pot history, was William Randolph Hearst.
Right.
He was the first one to campaign against marijuana in order to outlaw the growing of hemp. So when I made the TV show Should Grandma Smoke Pot, of course, I made him out to be the evil character he was. But when I went to clear the show on the networks and with the big companies, guess who was the first big broadcast company to agree to air Grandma? It was the Hearst Broadcasting Corporation.
They apparently had not screened the movie.
Oh, no. They had screened it.
Really?
They had talked about it. They sent it up to their head attorney in Washington, who then called and said, this is the classiest issue program I have ever seen.
Well, that's credit to
you. We will air it as a legitimate issue because it doesn't encourage illegal behavior. It encourages a change in the law. And I said, well, how about the Hearst story? He said, that doesn't bother us one little bit. But they made me blur out. Part of the show takes place in a radio studio. I'm with Nicole Sandler, who used to be on Air America. And she's also the narrator of the show. She's fabulous. But the mic had the station ID on it. And they made me blur that out. And there was a Dolphins poster behind that. They made me blur that out.
You're still talking.
But they left the Hearst story in.
Love it.
Karri, you're coming through.
For all their stations.
Sorry about that, Robert. Go ahead.
That's cool. No, I just thought it was really neat that the first big broadcast chain, it took months for me to get clearance to get that show on the air.
And it was the Hearst
as soon
family,
as they heard the word pot,
wow,
it was a negative. But
hey, I guess people
we've gotten it on. Most stations have cleared it now, but the first one who was definitive was the Hearst Broadcast Network. They own tons of stations all over the country,
right?
Really good stations, big network affiliates, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. They own stations with all of those networks, and they've cleared Grandma to play any place I want and can afford.
Yeah, they're
I just thought that
they're
was
definitely one
neat.
of the heavy hitters in media for sure. I'm surprised that they gave you the green light so quickly before anybody else.
Yeah, quickly and with compliments.
Wow.
I mean, they thought the show was just as the quality of the production is as good as any major movie.
Nice.
And they thought it was done with class, and that made me feel really good. But I expected a shoot down from them because right in the middle of our show, we tell the story about how he went after the industry and had to do it through closing down marijuana. And we don't make him out to be a nice guy, but that didn't bother them one little bit, and I give them a lot of credit for that.
On that note, were they favorable to ending prohibition or to allowing medical marijuana? Did they express an opinion on that at all?
Yeah, they did. Almost every station and station group that I've gone to for clearance has been in favor. No one has been negative. A lot of them were a little bit afraid. They thought there'd be a bad reaction from the community or from advertisers. And in fact, the first few stations got back to me and told me they were getting favorable calls and favorable letters, and people were thanking them for running the show. I've had over 10,000 emails thanking me for producing the show. And a man came to my door, and I live in a gated community. He came to my door and said, I don't know how to thank you. My grandson is autistic, and I saw your TV show, and I saw you talk about Joey Perez, the autistic boy out on the West Coast. He said, my grandson was exactly like Joey. And he said, I won't tell you how we got medicine because this is Florida.
Yeah.
He said, but it's made all the difference in the world in all our lives. The boy is not violent anymore. He's attentive, and
it definitely helps.
He communicates.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, thank you for sharing that story. We're going to take a quick break and then head back over to Russ to get some updates on election coverage 2012 here.
And that's right. And then we have Rudy Reyes coming up at quarter after the hour.
All right.
As the former chief federal prosecutor, I enforced our marijuana laws. I've come to believe they don't work. Filling our courts and jails has failed to reduce marijuana use, and drug cartels are pocketing all the profits. It's time for a new approach. Initiative 502 brings marijuana under tight regulatory control, generates new revenue for education and prevention. And if we pass 502, we'll have more resources to go after violent crime instead. Yes, on 502.
Michael Phelps, Olympic superstar, 14 gold medals, world record holder. Bomb smoker. So much for that amotivational syndrome.
All right, we're going to cut back out to Russ. See if we can get this. Oh, what the heck happened here? For some reason, they went on hold. Get back on there.
Election night.
Resume call.
Hopefully we'll get a victory.
Okay, Russ, do we got your back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're back with Russ. We're having all sorts of fun here.
Got me and Karri on the line at the moment.
Okay, and it looks like we've got, I think this is Rudy Reyes that was trying to call in.
Rudy, are you on the line with us now?
Hold on, do I just answer, or let's see, there's no other options. Answer. Okay, well, when I answer that, it puts Russ on hold. So, Rudy, are you there?
Got you. This is Rudy Reyes.
Okay, great. Let me go ahead and try and add you to our conference call so we can get you and Russ together. So give me a second, and we'll try calling you back.
Okay.
All right, bud.
Okay.
How's the race going, Rudy?
Oh, hold on. He hung up. Hold on. Okay, we're going to try and get everything set here.
Fire suffered burns over most of his body.
Well, hold on, Russ. When we went to Rudy, it put you on hold, so I'm going to try and add him to the conference call instead. So let's go ahead and copy his number.
And in the meantime...
Well, that's election night coverage, isn't it? It's all live. It's all live
Yes.
with volunteers. Things are going to happen.
And we're still kind of leading up to things happening. So it's good that we're working out all this stuff now.
Exciting stuff hasn't happened yet. I mean, there's lots going on. I can't believe all the stuff going on in Michigan. And it's really exciting to hear about what's happening in Florida. Because I love Florida. I talk about that all the time. I just love Florida. And I think it's one of those states that could really use medical marijuana or some sort of decrim in marijuana just because it would give people another option to alcohol. And that's something that I noticed is that alcohol is just really popular in Florida.
We've got more and more support for medical marijuana now in the last 24 months than most people would believe possible. And B. James has been fabulous at lobbying and getting support up in Tallahassee. Nice. And in January, when the legislature goes back up, I intend to run our show on a saturation schedule in Tallahassee, Jacksonville, all through from Orlando on up to the top of the state. It's going to be on 3 times a day, 7 days a week, for the whole time the legislature's in there. I say that. Of course, I got to raise the money to do that. But realistically, this is not the most expensive market up there. Mm-hmm. And I can probably run a 3-month schedule for about $12,000-$14,000.
That's not bad at all.
Not much. Not if you think about the difference it's going to make and how important medical is to a state that has a huge senior population.
True, and hospice too. That was the other thing I noticed while I was there, is that there is a lot of hospice facilities. For obvious reason, you have a senior population. You're going to have a lot of hospice clinics as well. But the one thing I did notice is that talking to the people in Florida, while I did run into a lot of people who profess to be Republicans, what was interesting in talking to them and comparing their views is that what I call them traditional Republicans, where they're actually socially progressive but fiscally conservative, and that's how I've always considered myself, even though I generally don't vote Republican. But I as bad of a name as Florida gets for being so conservative, I found that to be misrepresentative of the people that I kept running into.
Sorry to break in here and interrupt you guys. I do have to bring breaking news of the first announcement I can make on marijuana election night 2012. According to CNN and the Massachusetts election results, the first initial vote results coming in from the first district there, first township of Hampshire, medical marijuana question 3 is turning up 65% yes, 35% no.
Awesome.
Go Mike McCann.
Yeah. Oh, I got goosebumps.
That's my buddy. He's doing a hell of a job.
That's just hard work, a lot of sweat, and a lot of lonely nights.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Since Mass decrimmed, it's been so good up there that it looked like medical would be a walk in the park. There just is no resistance. Even the cops in Massachusetts were so happy when that state decrimmed a couple years ago. Russ, you were at the Freedom Rally that year.
Freedom Rally.
Yeah, we were all in the same booth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I invented the Silver Tour that year. We were all in the same booth. Me, you, High Times, Normal. And that's where I came up with the idea for the Silver Tour. But you remember all those Massachusetts cops standing around and watching everybody smoke, and they were just as happy as could be that they didn't have to bust anybody. There weren't any problems. And remember the smoke cloud that went up over the Boston Common 420? My God, it looked like the atomic bomb went off over the state of Massachusetts. You could really see it for 50 miles. That's how big the cloud was. And so nobody really doubted medical would pass there. And I'm really pleased to see that it's becoming a reality. I know Mike McCann and all those people up there worked really hard right from the beginning to get the state to decrim, and then they went right to work on a medical marijuana law.
Yeah,
we're going to get ours here in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, we're working to try to get Mike and Alex on the line from Massachusetts. I know they were still trying to get out there to their after party and get connected to us. So we'll get some information for them as soon as we can.
And we
for
had
those
Rudy
of you just joining us. We just made the announcement about Massachusetts and its medical marijuana. Right now, it's very early. Not all the votes have been counted in here, but CNN's results are showing a 65% to 35% lead for Massachusetts question 3 on medical marijuana.
So we were trying to get Rudy Reyes on the line. We were having some trouble adding multiple people to this this conference call. If we can get him to try and call back in, he hasn't been accepting when I've been calling out. So Rudy, if you want to try and call back, we'll try and get you added on. Also, Herb Thrasher and Aiko, if you're out there, I saw you guys trying to call in from the Cannabis Cafe with reports on Measure 80. Why don't you go ahead and try and call us back too, so we can get you added in and get some information. Meanwhile, let's throw back to Russ.
Yes, thanks very much. We are running up against a few technical issues here, trying to get multiple people on this Skype chat. But again, we are covering the marijuana election night results here at RadicalRuss.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at RadicalRuss. The hashtag is MJVote. And so far, all we know is Massachusetts, but we do have the state of Arkansas's polls will be closing in just 8 minutes. We hope to get Ryan Denema on the line and get some information from him on what's happening in Arkansas with their medical marijuana. Coming up later in the evening, we'll be speaking with Heather Morris from Montana. She'll be bringing us the information on Montana's referendum to keep the new restrictive medical marijuana law. So that's one we want to see lose. We want to see no votes on that one. Karri is in Colorado. She'll be covering Amendment 64 as we start to get some information on what's happening there. And we will continue to bring all the coverage here of Marijuana Election Night 2012 right here from RadicalRuss.com and theweedblog.com. I'll see if I can get this call on the line with.
Let me know if you want me to drop off. Make it easier for you.
No, it isn't an issue with you guys. It's an issue with the program. Unfortunately, it's not giving me the option to add people into this new group because we've already had the maximum number. But we're trying.
Yeah, if Aiko was listening, give me a call, Aiko. Let me know what's happening down at the cafe.
Bobby, are you calling in with the Skype connection?
Yeah, and
okay.
I can go camera whenever you want if you want.
No, that's okay. Just checking to see if that we're all on Skype and if that's the problem.
No,
Rudy Reyes is trying to call into us.
Yeah, he is, Russ. Unfortunately, this is not allowing me to add people to the conference call. So we may have to hang up from this conference call and just redial everybody again, including Rudy.
Okay, let's put some music on. Go ahead and put some music on the stream, and we'll redial the Skype call and get everyone connected.
Okay,
we're going to see what we can. We're
going to see what we can do. I'm going to drop everybody and recall. Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with a Marijuana Election Night 2012. People, thanks for standing by.
You're listening to Marijuana Election Night 2012 coverage on RadicalRuss.com, brought to you by the Russ Belville Show VIP members and High Times Magazine, theweedblog.com. the law offices of Omar Figueroa, the National Cannabis Coalition, MikeCan.net, California NORML, Montana NORML, and the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
What's happening, cool cats? This is Big Daddy, and I want you to cruise on over to the Funky Roller Ring. We'll be grooving all night long. Doors open at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, every Thursday night, right here on RadicalRuss.com.
Funky-licious.
17 states and the District of Columbia have legalized the use of marijuana for medicinal purposes. Over 70% of the American public supports the use of marijuana for medicinal purposes. What does Governor Mitt Romney think of medical marijuana?
So medical marijuana is legal in Colorado. One of our viewers, Phil Ferguson, asked, should marijuana be legalized for medical use?
Aren't there issues of significance that you'd like to talk about?
The medicinal use of marijuana is a significant issue to the millions suffering from cancer, AIDS, and other chronic pain, nausea, spasticity, and seizure disorders.
I think marijuana should not be legal in this country. I believe it's a gateway drug to other drug violations. The use of illegal drugs in this country is leading to terrible consequences in places like Mexico and actually in our own country.
Okay.
I oppose legalization of marijuana.
Okay, Russ, I guess we're back here.
Yes, welcome back. Marijuana election night. We're still trying to get a hold of Rudy. Unfortunately, we're having all sorts of problems between the phone and the Skype. Rudy might have a Skype line, and so we're going to see if we can get his Skype contact information and get a hold of him that way. That might be a better situation than us all trying to get up on the Skype. The latest update on Massachusetts medical marijuana does show the support slipping just slightly. We're 64% support, 36% opposition. So it does still look very good for Massachusetts passing medical marijuana.
Okay, awesome. We're going to try and get Herb Thrasher here on the line, Scott. We're trying to call out to him. We'll see if Skype's going to shoot us down or not. But meanwhile, we're just here hanging out at RoLLaJaY Studios. You know, Brian the Red and Mrs. Radical over here.
Just me.
Yep, just us.
Gingers.
Yeah, we've infested this place.
The gingers were behind the controls.
Even my shirt's a ginger today, so watch out.
I'm slightly ginger.
No.
And we've got Karri. Looks like Karri is back in on a call as well. Karri, anybody turning up there in Colorado yet?
Well, actually, Mason Tavercha showed up. He looks fantastic. The media has already got on him and done some interviews. So the campaign, or amendment, 54 people are showing up right now. It's exciting about that Massachusetts news. That was pretty exciting to hear us. But the polls close here in Denver in about 30 minutes. So we should be expecting county by county some election results popping in about 30 minutes from now. So we can't wait to bring you that live.
All right, and speaking of Denver, it's going to be kind of interesting in that here I am in Seattle, where we may very well pass marijuana legalization. And then tomorrow I'll get back on a train and go to Portland, Oregon, where we might very well pass marijuana legalization. And then I get on a plane and fly to Denver, where they might very well pass marijuana legalization. And a week later, I fly to Amsterdam, and y'all know about Amsterdam. So this is almost like the legalization world tour.
Unless you live in large. Washington, Oregon, Colorado, then off to Amsterdam. I'd say you're living the life.
Yes, we're having ourselves a good time, that's for sure. Again, results on Massachusetts do look like we are getting the 18th medical marijuana state. It hasn't been called officially yet in the state of Massachusetts, but CNN is reporting with results that were updated just a few minutes ago, 64% support for Massachusetts medical marijuana. Question 3 does look as though it will pass. We are just a minute away from the polls closing in Arkansas. I'm sorry, let me give you a new update. Massachusetts question 3 has dropped down to 64%. 63% report, 63% to 37% in Massachusetts for medical
How
marijuana.
much is reporting? How much is reporting on that number, Russ? How much? How much?
It looks as though we've got 19,000 votes in, so that's very, very early still.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very early results. CNN is projecting Mitt Romney in Arkansas and Tennessee, it looks, which is not very surprising at all, but that also tells us that we should get election results coming back very soon from the state of Arkansas. We will keep you posted as soon as we have some of those results. Let me throw back to Jennifer and Iva, who are back in our studio in Portland, Oregon, and we'll see if they can get anyone from Oregon on the line.
Well, I just sent a text to Scott and Aiko and asked them to call in, and then Jennifer stepped away to feed her other addiction. So it's just me and Brian.
The issue we're having here, people, is that people are trying to call in, and unfortunately it's not giving me the option like it usually does to add them to the conversation, to the current group call. So I don't know what is up with the program right now. Maybe I need to, I don't know, shut it down or something. But we'll figure it out. We'll get people in here. We still got Bobby Tuna, Robert Platshorn there on the line.
Bobby's here.
Bobby's always here. And we got Mike out there in Detroit, still on the line. Rick. Excuse me.
Let's see if we can get Rick back on the line and get some new information. Rick, do you still hear us out there in Detroit?
I sure do, and we're seeing some precincts reporting yet. Traditionally, we see a little slower results coming from urban areas. In early results, though, 2% of precincts reporting have got Mitt Romney leads in the state. We are receiving some results on other races like Hoekstra-Stabenow, which is a very big Republican versus Democrat race here based on judicial restructuring. However, no word yet on any of the 5 initiatives that we're keeping an eye on. No. However, it's very active coverage in a lot of stations here, so we're keeping our eyes peeled for all of this news.
All right, and for people that joined us late, Rick, can you give us a rundown on the cities that you're covering and what they're voting on?
Absolutely. In fact, it's very interesting. We have 5 cities here in Michigan that have individual individual marijuana proposals before them. In Detroit and Flint, both have initiatives that would amend the city code to make possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana without penalty. Ypsilanti has an initiative for a law enforcement priority measure. Grand Rapids has Proposal 2, which makes possession of marijuana just a civil offense punishable by a ticket as opposed to a misdemeanor. And in Kalamazoo, we have an initiative that would empower up to 3 medical marijuana distribution facilities in that city. So you're seeing really 4 different styles of attempts to modify local laws in order to empower people to utilize our medicinal and our healing herbs. So it's fantastic here in Michigan. We have such great support.
Yeah, we are looking forward to that for sure.
And of course, very encouraging about Massachusetts. Anytime we have good news about another state, that's encouraging for us here as well.
Absolutely. And we're online right now at radicalruss.com, theweedblog.com, and other fine websites out there covering the marijuana election night 2012. You can follow us at Radical Russ on Twitter. Also, the hashtag for tonight is MJ Vote, marijuana vote. And again, the latest results we have for you, Massachusetts, 64 to 36% in support of medical marijuana. So it's back up to 64%. This looks like a lock, people. It looks as though Massachusetts is going to pass medical marijuana and become the 18th state in the United States to pass such a law for medical marijuana. So we're very, very excited about that. All right. We're also making sure that everything's going okay on our chat line. If you are just listening, you can join our chat by typing /login and that'll allow you to create an account on Ustream, and you will be able to get in on the chat line. Later on tonight, we'll be bringing you results from Colorado's Amendment 64. Their polls are closing 26 minutes. Karri Gallaugher is there live in Denver to give us the results. In Montana, we've got the referendum vote. The polls there are closing at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We'll give you results on whether or not we're able to defeat that terrible, terrible new medical marijuana that's out there. Then also on 8 o'clock Pacific time is when the polls on the West Coast close. We will be coming out here to Washington State for I-502 updates. We'll be bringing you updates from Portland, Oregon on Measure 80. And Ellen Comp in California will be bringing us updates from the Bay Area on the various city initiatives that are going on in California, the 3-strike sentencing reform on the state level, and the mayoral candidacy of Rudy Reyes, who we are trying to get on the line. We're still having some tech issues, but we will try to get him on the line. Heather Morris from Montana Normal is just joining our chat right at the moment backstage, so we'll talk to her as soon as we can. And we will continue to bring you more election coverage result. I'm going to throw back to the studio right now so they can engineer a little break for us, give us some music for the background, and when we come back, we'll have someone to talk to here on Marijuana Election Night 2012.
We're working out all the snags and snares as we go along.
You know, this is getting a little ridiculous on this end. I mean, we tested this stuff, and you know, you can't predict live. That's just all I can say.
Well, technology doesn't always play nice.
Let's see here, and I don't even know where bed music is, so let's just go here.
So we're going to hopefully hear from Sam and Kaliko. We're trying to get Scott and Aiko on the line. For some reason, Skype doesn't want to play along. It won't let us add anymore. But we've got, hopefully we'll get a hold of Rudy Reyes, and we'll be talking to Heather Morris pretty soon. And some more with Rick Thompson and Bobby Platform. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to you guys in just a moment. You're listening to Marijuana Election Night 2012.
You're listening to Marijuana Election Night 2012 coverage on RadicalRuss.com. Brought to you by the Russ Belville Show VIP members and High Times Magazine, TheWeedBlog.com, the law offices of Omar Figueroa, the National Cannabis Coalition, MikeCan.net, California Normal, Montana Normal, and the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Oh yeah, that's right. Grooving, keeping it mellow here at the Funky Roller Ring. So join me, Big Daddy, every Thursday night. The doors open at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Groove on. Groove on.
I have to say that there was one question that was voted on that ranked fairly high, and that was whether legalizing marijuana would improve the economy and job creation. I don't know what this says about the online audience, but the answer is no. I don't think that is a good strategy to grow our economy. So.
nearly 1 million lives wrecked by a marijuana arrest every year, Mr. President. Politely tell President Obama what you think about legalization by calling the White House at 202-456-1111.
Okay, so looks like we finally got Herb Thrasher and Aiko on the line. You guys there? Can you guys hear me there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, man, we can see you and hear you. Right on, bud. Thanks for joining us. We got Herb Thrasher and Michael Bakra, aka Aiko. Joining us from the world famous Cannabis Cafe here in Portland, Oregon. What's the updates? How's the happy haps?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, as Brian said, we're here at the world famous Cannabis Cafe, and man, I'd say there's a good 70, 80 jubilant people here right now. The mood is definitely high. Everyone is smiling, having a good time, and we're expecting to win this thing, and so it's just a matter of time. We expect some numbers to start coming in after the 6 o'clock hour, probably closer to 7. We'll start getting some clarity on where Oregon is sitting. There were some bogus kind of numbers passed around earlier from the KGW site, and let's hold off on any numbers that have been passed so far. I really believe, as far as Oregon goes and Measure 80 goes, that we don't have any numbers in yet. So let's just hang tight. You guys in the chat room, we're going to be watching you. Thanks for keeping us up on all the states, and we're just going to wait, man. We're expecting some big things here in Oregon for Measure 80, and just very hopeful.
Right on. So let's kick it back over to Russ out in Seattle. Russ?
Yes, latest results we've got from the East Coast polls as they've been closing. Massachusetts is staying steady, 63% yes support for medical marijuana. We are going to have the 18th medical marijuana state in the state of Massachusetts. Arkansas medical marijuana doing better than our last report, but still losing 42% yes in Arkansas, 58% no in Arkansas. That is the latest updates we have here from CNN and some of the other locations that we're getting this information on. 42-58 in Arkansas, 62-38 in Massachusetts.
Okay, and how about Karri? We still got Karri out there? Hello, Karri. Are you with us? We'll check
Karri
back
Gallaugher's out in the Colorado Amendment 64 campaign headquarters. She was texting me just a second ago that she was talking with Mason Tvert, the campaign director from from Amendment 64, getting all of the press passes and things taken care of. So she may be away from the desk right at the moment.
And
go back out to Herb Thrasher out there at the Cannabis Cafe. Who are some of the people that are attending there at Cannabis Cafe tonight? Mute button, Herb, mute.
The mute.
Get your
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, we got her. Who are some of the people?
Okay, yeah, this is Herb Thrasher here at the Cannabis Cafe. And yeah, I'd say we have Tom Jensen, KGW News is here, and KATU, and there's a couple of news vans out front already parked. They're already ready to go. We have Madeline Martinez here, and a lot of the normal cafe people. The campaign Measure 80 campaign team hasn't really got here yet. We're not expecting them for another hour or so, and we feel like they'll start trickling in. But up until then, it's just kind of the mood's mellow, but the feelings are high, and we're all positive, and we're just kind of waiting around to start getting into some of the meat of what's happening here tonight in Oregon for Measure 80.
All right, really looking forward to that. World famous Cannabis Cafe. We'll also have a report later on from Sam Chapman and Calico Castile with Oregonians for Law Reform at a Democratic party that's going on in somewhere else in Portland. So we'll get to that.
Okay, and I think that we've actually got Rudy Reyes on the phone now. Finally, do we have you, Rudy?
Rudy, can you?
Are you there, Rudy? Oh,
okay, we see him there, but we're not hearing him.
Okay. Well, we'll keep. Well, he went popped away. We'll try and get him back on here. A lot of fun. Technical difficulties. We've still got Rick. We've still got Herb. We've still got Russ. We've got Jen and Iva here. Jennifer, how are we doing?
Oh, good. I'm trying to get everything, all my links to figure out what is going on everywhere right now. I'm not used to this little computer. But to clarify what Russ was just saying, there's actually a Democratic Party where I think Jim Grieg is today, and then there's an Oregonians for Law Reform election party that Sam and Kaliko will be at the Modish. It's going to be celebrating one way or the other. I mean, we've come a long way in marijuana reform. Even if this doesn't pass, the fact that everybody's talking about it and on the level that they're talking about it, that's winning.
Rudy, do we have you online?
Are you seeing me finally?
Yeah, we can see. All right, excellent. So, still getting some of the kinks worked out. This is Brian the Red engineering for the Marijuana Election Night 2012 on RadicalRuss.com and several other fine stations out there. Russ, you had some questions for Rudy?
Yes. Yes. Well, let me just get the intro here. First of all, Rudy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Folks, if you don't know, Rudy Ray's a good friend of the show and a big friend to marijuana activism, and he's running for mayor of Santee, California. So, Rudy, tell us about Santee, California, and what kind of issues patients and marijuana consumers are facing out there, and what you're going to do as mayor to fix it.
Well, it's a really interesting situation. See, Santee, we live on the very edge of San Diego. So we get a lot of the San Diego politics. And if you know, San Diego's right on the front lines of a lot of this medical marijuana fight. As a matter of fact, we still don't have any real regulations in Santee because of the fact. So what's going on is in 1996, we passed medical marijuana laws. And because of the politicians, we don't still have anything as in regulations across the board in the state. So I figured if they're going to be the root of the problem, our solution is for people like us, me, you, to run for their seats, to take the seat ourselves and to make that decision. If they're going to hold us back, let's say 16 years, someone like you or I has to run. So that's been my message nonstop since I've got into what we'll call politics, is that people like you and I need to get involved, medical cannabis patients, users, so that we make the decision and not the political people that are holding us all back.
Very, very well put. And as who is it that you're campaigning against? Who's the current mayor that you're running against?
His name is Randy Vopel. He's been he's been mayor for the last 2 terms, 8 years straight, but he's been involved in Santee politics for about 20 years. And see, that's part of the problem, is the aristocracy caught into America of the same ideas over and over and over again. It doesn't allow for change in politics.
Right. And so this guy's been in office how long, you say?
He's going on 20 years, roughly.
Jeez. Yeah, so 20 years. And, I just have a thumbnail, sketch idea of what the politics are like in San Diego. I just know that, they're not very friendly to medical marijuana down there. We know that Bonnie Dumanis has been down there running roughshod over patients and such. How has it been in Santee? Pretty much the same situation?
Well, we're within the county of San Diego, so Bonnie Dumanis does have her power here, too. As a matter of fact, it's more powerful. If I'm within the city of San Diego limits, they have at least guidelines, something that we can go by. In the county, they refuse to give us guidelines, and we have some of those restrictive laws around. So under Bonnie Dumanis' reign, whatever you want to call that, and she actually almost ran for mayor of San Diego, and God forbid that had happened. But being what it was, we're caught in Santee where the local politicians, everyone here is a staunch Republican, and they're very conservative on how they look at this for medical marijuana. And that only hurts us as a group because, yeah, you might have me that I'm fairly active and healthy, but you can see my damages and what I've gone through. But you can't see that for, again, like the Silver Tour grandma over there. You can't tell that with grandma. And grandma is part of a community. And as that community, we need to stand up and respect her too.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, Rudy. And now you're fairly well known for your activism down there in Southern California and standing up for medical marijuana patients. Has the issue of marijuana been something that's been brought up in this mayoral campaign, either for good or bad, as an attack or anything like that?
Well, it's funny because they try both. In the last election, they tried to bring it up as a attack on me or try to polarize the group against me and make me look like the bad guy on the scene. And honestly, what happened there is the mediator brought up the question of medical marijuana, and the mayor immediately said, you know what? F them. And literally said that to the group. And you had the whole group of elderly folks who at first started to applaud his, action. And I go, wait. Before you applaud this hate speech, because that's all that was,
nice.
You have to realize that this was a law passed in 1996, and because of people like him, we still don't have it here to this day. All I'm trying to do is enact what the people wanted, what you people told him to do 16 years ago. And we're still caught in the situation where, yeah, they try to use it as a trip up, but if you know how to deal with the situation and tell the truth, and really it's the truth that saves us a lot, you don't have such a big issue.
So,
well, Rudy, that's we're really looking forward to the results in your mayoral race. If you'll stay on the line with us, we got to take a short little break here, get things reset, and we'll go on and talk to you some more about your candidacy there in Santee. Is that good?
That works. Thank you.
All right, you're listening to Marijuana Election Night 2012. I'm Radical Russ here in Seattle, Washington, at the I-502 headquarters. Send you back to RoLLaJaY Studios.
All right, thank you, Russ.
All right, well, we're live from RoLLaJaY Studios, eagerly awaiting to hear from Herb and Aiko about what's happening at the world-famous Cannabis Cafe and Measure 80 election results. And then later we'll talk to Kaliko and Sam for the Oregons for Law Reform.
And we'll also get an update from Karri as soon as she's settled with all of her passes and whatnot.
All right, well, you're listening to Marijuana Election Night 2012. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Marijuana Election Night 2012 coverage on RadicalRuss.com. Brought to you by the Russ Belville Show VIP members and High Times Magazine, TheWeedBlog.com, the law offices of Omar Figueroa, the National Cannabis Coalition, MikeCan.net, California Normal, Montana Normal, and the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Marijuana legalization is on the Oregon ballot this November. Measure 80 will institute regulations that treat marijuana like alcohol. Measure 80 will provide jobs and tax revenue we so desperately need. Measure 80 will protect children by moving the marijuana market to adults-only stores that check for ID. Measure 80 will free up police resources to focus on real crimes, not the 1 out of 7 adult Oregonians like me who consume marijuana responsibly. Vote yes on Measure 80 and donate to Oregonians for Law Reform today.
If we're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana and the next thing you know they got 10 years, they've got mandatory sentences, and these judges just say, they throw up their hands and say, there's nothing we can do, it's mandatory sentences. We've got to take a look at what we're considering crimes.
When the Reverend Pat Robertson from television's The 700 Club
criminalizing marijuana, criminalizing the possession of a few ounces of pot and that kind of thing, I mean, it's just
makes more sense on the marijuana issue than the president, the Congress, and the Supreme Court.
It's costing us a fortune, and it's ruining young people. The young people go into prisons, they come out, they go in as youths, and they come out as hardened criminals, and it's not a good thing.
You know we're winning.
Welcome back to Marijuana Election Night 2012 coverage. I'm Radical Russ Belville coming to you live from Seattle, Washington, where we are at the I-502 party headquarters. The major media is now showing up and starting to set up their lights and big cameras. It's a very exciting time here. We are approaching the top of the hour, and polls will be closing in Colorado, and that means we'll be going out to our own Karri Gallaugher, who will give us the latest updates as Colorado's polls close, and we get the results on Amendment 64. So we've also got Herb Thrasher on the line there in the world-famous Cannabis Cafe in Portland, Oregon, just 6 blocks away from RoLLaJaY Studios. Herb, how's everything going, my man? Still typing. I see smoking.
Herb, you want?
Everything is going great. We're at World Cafe, and we're about to have the founder of Measure 80 for the women's part, Anna Diaz. He's gone. Iko has gone to get her right now. We're going to talk with her and get some of her feelings on what's going on right now. But everything is still great. News trucks are out there. People are coming in. This is actually a public event, so you guys in Oregon, you don't have to have your card to come here tonight. Everyone, come on down. It's a great time to come to see the cafe and come hang out with Measure 80 legalization and make history tonight. So we're still waiting on Anna, and yeah, things are going great here.
Fantastic. We've also got Karri Gallaugher, who's in Denver, Colorado. We'll be heading out to her in a second. And Rudy Reyes is on the line. He's now on video, so we'll switch to Rudy Reyes. He's running for mayor of Santee, California. Rudy, welcome back.
How you doing?
Still sticking with Verizon.
Doing great. And I just wanted to give the studio folks back in Portland, RoLLaJaY Studios. Jen and Iva are sitting there, and I thought that Iva might have some questions for you, Rudy.
Hi, Rudy. How are you? This is Mrs. Radical or Russ's wife, Iva.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember me, but we met probably at the first normal conference that I ever attended, and I think, Russ, it was your first as well. But I remember when talking to you, even then I knew you were an outstanding young man, and it's exciting to see that you have thrown your hat into the political ring. So tell me, just, what's the controversy been? Have you had any, what have your opponents been saying about your platform?
Really? Okay, the only thing they can say is the fact that I'm running for a seat that I've never really ran for in the past. Now, the fact is I'm running for the mayoral seat because nobody was going to challenge the gentleman at all. I was originally going to run for just a regular council seat because we just needed somebody like me on that council. But in the sense that nobody was going to really oppose the gentleman for mayor and he was going to run unopposed and just win the seat, I figured, hey, at least give him an election rather than run a three-way seat and give it to the incumbent again.
Has there been, because you're in a very conservative area, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and have you, because I know that a lot of people feel like this is only a Democratic or a progressive issue. How have you had to overcome those arguments, from people who are conservative and just don't want to address the issue at all?
Okay, so you have to realize with those type of people, they usually have a problem with need. Mm-hmm. And with certain ones of us, I'll say the people in the wheelchair, the people like me who are burn survivors, there's no way from the get-go, just looking at me, they can't say, you don't have need. So, like, in the case of the county supervisor, Diane Jacob, who I ran against for county supervisor just a little while ago, that idea of need was never brought up. As a matter of fact, they avoid the question in medical marijuana for the situation. Now we go back to where the power of that silver tour is. Because with that silver tour, you start to make a lot of those elderly folks that, yes, do need medical marijuana to replace a lot of these prescription medications, realize that there's a need for them too. And in doing that, you change the demographics of who's using this for that medical ideology.
Right. Are you finding that there's a lot of people that use it for burns the way you did? I've learned about the cannabis salve from a lady who makes it here in Oregon, and that was one of her big recommendations. Is that a common use?
Yes, it is. Actually, I've gone to, and it's a whole separate ideology. There's a World Burn Congress. It's a gathering of burn survivors that happens yearly. And at these events, I've now grown a group of about 30 to 40 people who we get together to, burn one, enjoy marijuana, cannabis as a medication, however you want to phrase that, along the sides at these gatherings. And it's just because of the fact that we're starting to understand that there's a better medical need for this. And the more we get into it, the more we start to find out there's big use.
Yeah. There's so many uses that people aren't familiar with, and we're learning more and more about them with medical marijuana. I love that.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, even for those that are using it recreationally, and it is a little different. Now, I'm going to give it to you really simple. those of us that are on medical, I don't get the munchies. I don't get the whatever you want to call those quick intro.
Sorry about that. We're heading over to a break here. That came on a little louder than we anticipated.
I'm just saying that we don't get that as much because we're on the medication on a regular.
Right.
For those that are the recreational users, they get to enjoy those happy gigglies, the munchies, all those intro effects that make you feel good with it.
Has it been difficult to point out the problems with prohibition as opposed to convincing people? Oh, I guess we're supposed to take a break. Well, I'm going to hold that question until we get done with our break.
Okay.
So, we're just going to take a break here real quick, and we'll get back to you guys in a minute here. Oh, no, it's not going to do the break.
No break.
No break. We're not going to take a break.
Okay,
ever.
well, anyway, we'll just remind everybody that they're listening to
the Cannabis Cafe.
Yes.
We're going to go out live to Cannabis Cafe.
Yeah, we're going to go. We're on.
The line with
This is Herb Thrasher and Anna Diaz.